Hey y'all, Noni here. Welcome back to my channel. You can call me Noni. I'm currently filming from my bathroom. It's like The Mist, the movie based on the book by Stephen King called The Mist. It's like that outside, like you can't see your hand in front of you, and it's just all gray and like London fog and the movie and An American Werewolf in London. And just all those bad things that happen when it's weather like that. So I don't feel like dealing with it. It's been a pretty shitty week. I'm definitely gonna be crying. I'm trying to figure out a way to rest you on a coffee pot. Then I think, oops. Then I feel like you're only gonna see, well, that's not too bad, right? So let's talk about my week. I think the last time I uploaded, I honestly can't tell you what it was about. Half the time I remember what day it is. But I just know that I have been sick, but not the chronic illness sick. I thought that there was a possibility that I had COVID, or what I really thought I had was a resurgence of the Epstein-Barr. Every year I get a reactivation of mono, which is the Epstein-Barr virus. I get the sore throat, I get the fevers, I get the just horrible fatigue. And that's really where I first noticed something was wrong, because I'm not one to, like, the medication that I'm on, I've been on for years and years and years. I have worked jobs while I've been on this medication, and it's never made me tired. When I first started taking it, sure, but I've been taking it for years, and my body's used to it. So now the only thing that makes me actually go to sleep is Ambien, which of course I don't take unless I'm going to bed. But I had started, like, I would wake up exhausted, and which I always do. Like, I mean, I always wake up very tired. I always wake up in a lot of pain, but I can usually get things going during the day. I get my coffee, I get my body moving. It doesn't mean my body stops hurting. It doesn't mean that I stop feeling tired, but it's not to the level of what I would call fatigue, where I just don't feel like I can move another inch, even to get up to go to the bathroom or anything. And I just found myself, I would lay down, like, let me lay down for a minute. Just lay down for a minute. Next thing I know, 4 hours would go by, and I would be in the same position, like laying like they do in the old vampire movies, where you just lay like this on your back, and that's just not my style. I'm a roller, a mover and a roller and a shaker, when I sleep. So that was the first indication to me that something was off. And then, when you have something like small fiber neuropathy, you already have body pain. So you already walk around all day feeling like you have the flu in terms of body pain. Um, and so, I was worried. I was like, how will I know, like, if I'm feeling like flu body pain, um, or mono body pain compared to, what I already have. But I had just odd body pain that I don't normally have, or body pain that's normally on the light side. That was just really, really kicked up a notch. So, like, I always have this shoulder pain if I use it the wrong way, but I've learned how to move it to where I don't have a resurgence. Well, it was hurting without me doing anything. Like, I wasn't even moving it, and it was tightening, and I can't think of the words, but it was really bad. It was like I was moving it the wrong way, but I wasn't moving it at all. And then other just weird pains in weird places that I don't normally have pain, and the pain felt very different. Like, I felt like I had a pinched nerve in the back of my neck, which I have way, years before I ever got sick. Um, Everybody gets that pinched nerve feeling, but I thought that was odd. It's just something I don't ever get. And then a lot of other just weird body pains that I can't even describe, that just were just weird. Like, it's the only way I can explain it. My throat hurt a little bit one day where I had to, like, spray it with that stuff. And I was like, oh no, here we go, mono, another resurgence and stuff. And I wanted to go get tested, but I don't have insurance, and I didn't know how much the doctor visit would be. I didn't know how much the lab work would be. And there's nothing they can do for it. But for me, I just like to see, I like to keep track of when am I having these resurgences, medical records and such. So, but I let it go, and then I didn't have any congestion or anything like that, but I did have some wheezing, which was weird because I had no coughing. I had a little bit of, I would wake up feeling like I had spent the entire night partying and smoking, but I don't smoke, and I haven't partied in years, and it felt almost kind of wheezy. So, and my throat does hurt when I talk. But mostly it's the just being exhausted. Like, just doing this is absolutely exhausting. But I did want to make a video because I did go ahead to be responsible, because I live with other people. I could possibly at some point be around my grandchildren, and I don't want to do that until I know for sure that I have something else and not COVID. So it's basically just me wanting to be responsible. So I went and got tested for that Friday. That was very easy. I called the Department of Health Services for my area and told them I don't have insurance or a job. So they told me where they were doing free testing. So I went on Friday. Hi, baby. This is Popo. Yeah, he's a baby. Oh, my goodness. They do this thing where they lay on this ledge, and then I'm terrified that they're going to fall off, because they like when I rub the back of their neck, and then they start leaning back, and so I'm scared that they're going to fall off. But anyway, so don't fall off, okay, baby? Okay. So what else? So anyway, and my hi, and my daughter also was kind of feeling the same. So we both, I wanted to get her tested too. So we both went. It wasn't bad at all. I don't know if that means she didn't get up there high enough. That's possible. Um, and there also was a little thing where like there were two people doing it. So Bailey was behind me, and there were two people. One was doing me, one was doing Bailey, but somehow they switched the bottles and they put hers in my bag and mine in hers. And so then we told them and they fixed it, but still you're a little like, So I don't know about that. Then they said they'd call in 5 to 7 business days with the results. Well, it occurred to me after, like, I hope you leave the results on a voicemail, because I will not answer the phone because I get 5 bazillion calls a day from, since I did that inquiry into trying to see if I could get insurance, which was a total joke. And then like just all kinds of stupid bullshit, but so many people calling me. Like I get 20 calls a day. I get texts from so many different people, and it doesn't matter how many times I block them. They just find a new number and they call with that. So I don't ever answer my phone. And so now I'm like, just leave the message, positive or negative, on my phone. Like, I don't care. They did have us sign some paperwork. I printed it. I printed my name and I signed my name and I gave it back, but I didn't even get a chance to read the paperwork. It was so fast. But they did both nostrils. There was no like Q-tip thing at the end. So I don't know about that. I don't know how much they got. I'm usually very dry in every part of my body. So I don't know if they got anything. I fully expected them both to come back negative. I haven't been anywhere. Occasionally, like once a week, I might go to Target, but I'm masked up. I stay as far away from people as I can. They only ever give us cleaned carts. And then that's it. Like, so it's possible maybe one of my family members got it that was asymptomatic and gave it to me. But again, I don't know. I just feel like it's highly unlikely that I got it. And before that, though, before the COVID testing day, I did get some news that I am going to be a Noni for the 3rd time. It's very early in, so I don't have a whole lot of information. But that was really some great and beautiful news to get during a dreary time of year, but it's also very scary because I can't imagine being pregnant right now and having to deal with being in the middle of a pandemic. So we're just going to do whatever makes the mama feel comfortable. And that's what I'm going to do. Respect those boundaries because that's what one does when one loves somebody, right? So, so I'm very excited about that. I know I may not look very excited, but again, I feel like extra poo. And then I have, I got some really bad news. So during this time of being sick, I hadn't experienced any coughing or anything. In fact, I had like 2 days. It started on the 5th. I had a fever that went up to 100 and almost 102. And I had 2 days where I felt like complete dog doo. And then day 3, I felt completely fine. My version of fine, right? So just my normal fine. I was able to get up, do a couple things, do some laundry, blah, blah, blah. And then day 4 and 5, we're back to feeling like poo. But I remember remarking that, well, I don't have a cough and, none of this other stuff, so I'm sure I'm fine. And then I say that, and then that very night, I woke myself up at 3 in the morning, just coughing my ass off and like gasping in for air. Like you're coughing so hard, so surprisingly so much though, because, I woke up coughing, so you're like, that kind of thing. And, so I took a cough pill that I always keep these in the house. They are prescription. But we always get so many. I think they prescribe to us 90. You're supposed to take them 3 times a day. And between, during a regular kind of cold situation or whatever, we never go through that many. So we always end up having a few left, and I did, but not enough to get me through or my daughter through if we needed more for, say, the next week or whatever, because we didn't know what this was. This could be just a regular cold. This could be the flu. This could be the mono, because my daughter has the same EBV mono reoccurrence thing. And it could be, very doubtful though, COVID. So after they tested me, I had planned on calling my PA, who is the one in charge of all of my care, including my care for my chronic illness, because I ended up just firing all my specialists. They were not interested in continuing to help me find the cause of the small fiber neuropathy, which is simply a symptom of a bigger problem, which I've had markers test positive for Sjogren's syndrome and test positive for lupus. And at the time, I didn't have enough symptoms. The markers were too low for my rheumatologist, and I didn't have enough of the right lupus symptoms for her to go ahead and greenlight that diagnosis. And the reason I'm always looking for that diagnosis of the cause of this is so that I can get approved for something called IVIG, which is immunoglobulin therapy, which is basically where I have plasma. It's an infusion, probably I think a 4-hour infusion, donated from thousands and thousands and thousands of different people. They donate plasma. And it kind of, I guess, I don't really know how it works, but I think it just cleans out or clears out your bad plasma. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I have read that it has worked very well for a lot of people and made them better. It's helped them regenerate some of their nerve fibers, and it's helped them. And I want to do everything I can to help my body, right? So, but they weren't interested in continuing to find the cause, which I found very odd. It's like literally the most amount of work that you have to do is to just let me come in every 6 months, take a blood test, check for my antibodies for different autoimmune disorders, and that's it. Like, but they always were like, nah, and so I just was like, you know what? My rheumatologist was willing to do that, which was great, but I didn't need to see her for anything else, like blood tests, so we just agreed, okay, I'll come in, every 6 months you'll do these blood tests, and then when something, hopefully, ding, 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 something catches, we can move forward. But as far as my care for my small fiber neuropathy, and then anything else that comes up with my body, I was going to be having my PA, which is my physician's assistant, handle everything. I'd been seeing her for about, I think 20 years. Her husband is a doctor. They had a practice together, and he was treating my husband. He's the one that cured my husband, basically. My husband had, for 5 years, he had pancreatitis, chronic. Nobody knew what was wrong with him or how to figure out why he kept getting this pancreatitis, why it kept coming back. It turned out to be a sphincter thing. Like, there's these little, I don't know. I'm too tired to explain, but look it up. It's called sphincter of Oddi. And it's something to do with your bile ducts. So anyway, he's the one doctor that didn't give up on my husband and just assumed that he was just a lying drunk. And he was so sweet. He just never gave up on Kelly. And then when they got to a point where they couldn't figure out why it kept coming back, and so this doctor offered, he had airline miles, right? He offered, he offered my husband his airline miles so he could fly to Mayo Clinic, and maybe Mayo Clinic could find out what was wrong with him. Which, when he did that, I mean, it just made us cry. We were like, who does that? Like, it was such a generous, unselfish, thoughtful thing to do. We couldn't take him up on it, of course, because we didn't have money for all the other things, like, renting a car. They didn't have Uber back then, and getting a hotel, that kind of thing. But so after we got our test, I knew I wanted to get those pills ordered, and it was Friday. And it's almost always, it's very difficult to get a prescription on Friday because it just is. The doctors are trying to wrap up the week. They're exhausted. They have tons of patients calling in trying to get their meds wrapped up for the week, so they have them over the weekend. That's one of the biggest fears of a chronic pain patient, is not having your meds during the weekend. So I called the office, and I wanted to just speak to my PA. Her name was Cindy. I wanted to speak to Cindy's assistant, Blake, who is a wonderful guy. And he's usually the one I always deal with. Like, when I go in, I see Blake, of course, but I see her too. But when I'm just calling in a prescription, I always just call, the front desk knows me up there. I call and I ask for Blake. I talk to Gina because she's the front desk. And by the way, Dr. Chu had a stroke and was unable to continue practicing medicine. So, luckily, Cindy found another doctor, because when you're a physician's assistant, you have to work under another doctor, which she found one. And she continued to see my family and my husband, and then any and all friends that I had that I could refer to her, I did, because she was just so amazing. She would let me try any medication that I wanted to, because she knew I would do the research. She knew I did the research on it. I came in with the research in hand, and then while we were there, she would also research it as well and read up on it, and make sure it didn't mix with any other medications, look at the side effects. We talk about it together, and then we'd come up with a plan where I'd come in, depending on the medication, I'd come in every week, I'd come in every 2 weeks, or every month, or every 3 months, whatever, to test my blood to make sure my organs, liver, kidneys, that kind of thing, were handling the medicine well. And she was just so, she never not believed me. So, okay. So here's what happened. So I called, and I just said, "Hey Gina, it's Heather, and I want to, I'm a patient of Cindy's, which she knows. I want to talk to Blake real quick about a cough medication." And she was like, "Well, he's not here yet. I'm not sure what time he's going to come in. Cindy died on Wednesday, so I'm not sure, da da da." And I go, "What? What? What did you say?" And she goes, "Cindy died on Wednesday, so, we're not really sure. Doctor, the doctor's doing the best he can to keep up with all the patient's medications and stuff." And I still wasn't absorbing it. Like, I just was like, are you, okay, so you're saying that she's dead? Like, she died? And, yeah, so she died. And it was such a shock to me, as it always is, and they couldn't tell. Of course, I asked why. That's just my immediate, because she wasn't just my doctor. Like, she was my friend. We considered her and her husband family, because they cared so much. And so, sorry. And so I just said, okay, well, there's these cough pills that I wanted to try to get, because I'm sick, and all that was kind of a blur. And she said she tried to get Blake to call me, and which of course he didn't, which is, I completely understand. Like I said, luckily we had some extra, so but I knew her daughter, who also helped run the office, and so I went to her Facebook page, where she had a big, long tribute to her mom, and apparently she died of COVID. She had it twice and beaten it, Um, and I know that there's people out there saying, oh, you can only get it once. Well, that's bullshit. But I always knew that was bullshit. Um, which I didn't know this either, because I hadn't need. The funny thing is, I thought something was odd because, she was usually very prompt on, okay, it's time for your 3-month medication, like, because they've changed the laws and such or whatever. And my pharmacy had called in refills for me, and they all went through, which I was surprised. I thought there was going to be a couple that were held up with a, hey, you need to come in for your 3-month or whatever. But they got pushed through, and I was like, oh, well, that's odd. But, and end of the year kind of thing, she could be just really busy, whatever. Well, it turns out during that time, she spent 30 days in the hospital fighting for life. And I haven't gotten the details, but I can only assume that she lost her fight alone on a ventilator, like thousands of other people. So that was really hard news to hear. So I'm feeling grief for just the loss of this beautiful, bright shining light. She just always had such a smile, such a life, so full of life, so full of energy. I don't know where it came from. Excuse me. I mean, she took such good care of her husband. Got him rehabilitated almost to the point of him getting his license back. And if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have even gotten as close as he has gotten. And she just fought for everybody that she loved. And, I told her one day, I was like, because I did have to be a caretaker for Kelly for a long time. And it's hard, it's really hard. And she said that being a caretaker for her husband was the greatest honor of her life. And that's the kind of person that she was, and I remember the last visit that we had that I didn't know was going to be our last visit. I said to her, I was like, because she had fallen a few times, and she'd broken a shoulder, and then she tripped. It was during, over a span of a couple years, broken a shoulder, and then, fell on some ice, wore the wrong shoes and tripped on, a sidewalk, that kind of stuff. And I told her, I was like, you've got to take better care of yourself, Cindy, we can't lose you. You can't ever die. We can't ever lose you. We'd be lost without you, And she laughed and she said, oh, you'd be fine. You'll be fine. You'd find somebody. And I just said, we'd never find anybody like you. Not like you, Um, most doctors treat me like I am a drug-seeking hypochondriac. Um, and so I'm also terrified, like, who's going to take over my care now? Um, and it feels selfish to be having those feelings when the world has just lost someone very dear and rare. So of course I feel shitty about that. About feeling scared, but that's the truth, you know. I do feel scared. I know, I'm sure all of her patients do. She dealt with a lot of elderly patients. And sometimes because she was so thorough and she would actually spend time talking to her patients about their personal lives and about her personal life. She shared herself with her patients. You know what I mean? And it was worth the wait. Sometimes you'd be waiting an hour. And we'd all wait happily. I never saw one person complain about having to wait because we knew that whatever time she was giving that patient needed, and that she would give us what we needed as well. And I've never seen anything like that before. And I probably never will again. But just as a person, I mean, that's who I'm really gonna miss, is just our visits, you know. And I hate thinking of her suffering. And I hate thinking of her husband. I'm sure he's terrified too because she was his biggest caregiver. She's the one that fought with the insurance companies and the boards and all the people that wanted to try to tell her, no, he can't be a doctor again. No, he can't do this. No, he can't do that. She proved them all wrong. Every time he needed to meet a mark, he met it. And he did it because of her. Because she helped him get there. I don't know what this world is going to do without her. And just to have her go out that way it makes me so angry. So, please, I know the masks are a pain in the ass. I get it. I hate wearing them. I have shortness of breath. Every time I'm in a store, I try to get out as soon as I can because I hate them. But if you wear a seatbelt, you can wear a mask. If you put your kid in a car seat, you can wear a mask. If you drive a motorcycle and you wear a helmet, you can wear a mask. If you ride a bike and you wear a helmet, you can wear a mask. You could be saving people's lives. And nobody should be dying of this. Nobody should be dying this way, alone in a hospital. Somebody that was so loved and gave so much love and so much care to so many people died alone in a hospital. I mean, I just can't imagine. It's so cruel. Sorry. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on. I'll post again when I know the results of my test. They said 5 to 7 business days, so if I know, I may post before that. But for right now, I pretty much feel like shit. So, but before I go, I wanted to tell you guys about these cough drops. Now, again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not telling you that you must go and get this medication. Pardon me one moment. I'm gonna blow my nose, so enjoy the kitty, if you can see him. Say hi. There you go. Say hi, Popo. Sorry. But, these pills, the syrups, NyQuil, yes, of course it works great, but, I don't feel comfortable taking it with Ambien. But this medication I can, because it doesn't have it's just never made me feel drowsy or anything like that. It's called, again, I'm not telling you to go get it. All I'm suggesting is you go and speak with your doctor about this medication. Because it was working so well that I thought, okay, well, obviously the cough is gone, because I haven't coughed in days. Now, granted, I was taking these every 3 hours, but I was like, well, I haven't coughed in days, so I'm just gonna, stop taking these. I'm sure that part's over. And today, I had a huge coughing fit. Huge. So that tells me these were working. I still had the cough, but these were working. So the generic name, I don't even know what the non-generic name, the brand name is. I think it's like Tusslin something or other. But the generic name is benzonatate. So it's B as in boy, E-N, Z as in zebra, O, N as in Nancy, A, T as in Tom, A, T as in Tom, E. And they're just little gelatinous looking beads. I think they call them pearls. They're like, vitamin D pills, but a little bit smaller. You take them 3 times a day. This is 200 milligrams. So, again, not a doctor. Not suggesting that these, or not guaranteeing or promising that these will work for you. Just telling you that for me and for my family, this is the one and only thing that has ever taken the cough away. Because you still usually, like with the other things, you still usually suffer with the cough. The syrups or whatever just lessen it. So, but I wanted to leave you with that information. So that if you are suffering with a cough or not feeling well, maybe after speaking with your doctor, you and your doctor can decide if this is a good course of treatment for you. Because again, I am neither a nurse nor a doctor. So I am going to go lay down, and that is it. I hope that you all have a beautiful week. Hug your everybody that you love tighter and closer to you, and because it just really comes out of nowhere. This is one that I can say truly, truly, truly shocked. Yeah. But if you like, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share. Please, most importantly, though, just take care of yourselves and each other, and love each other. Love everybody up. Hug your babies tighter, and I hope that you have an absolutely beautiful day. And I'll talk to you in a few days. Sooner, hopefully, rather than later, okay? All right. Mwah.